Hey, what's going on? My name is Mitch, and in this channel, I teach you how to take your power back by reconnecting with yourself and the world around you. I bring you tips, tricks, and techniques through teachings of many great others and from my own advice. And I help you reconnect with anything that you have disowned to make you into the person you're meant to be. All right, in today's episode, I'm going to talk to you about how to get good, how to get skilled, how to improve at whatever you want in life. Okay? Now, in today's society, in the world that we live in, there's a lot of talk about instant gratification, about in sort of the social media age that we're in. There's a lot of talk about leveling up, getting what you want. A lot of people have a lot of different advice as to how you can become rich and famous and this and that and the rest. However, we need to break this down because there is a method to getting whatever you want. There's a method to getting the skills to become this person. So say you see someone on your socials and they're driving around in a Lambo, living in their tight Lopez house with knowledge and everything like that. This is great. However, it's sort of it's a bit of a slap in the face to what it takes to genuinely get that, without going into the details of whether all this is real or not. However, just in our current society, there's a bit of a war against constant drudgery and practice to achieve mastery and achieve great skill in something. And there is method to it, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. This is how you get good at anything you want in life. Whether it's learning a new language, learning a martial art, learning any kind of skill, whether you want to learn a creative pursuit, photography, painting, etc. This will get you there. So these are the points that I want you to take on board when you learn that new skill, which hopefully you will start something after you watch this. So what I'm going to be referencing is a very powerful, very short book, which is good. So I think that you should all get a copy of this, which is Mastery by George Leonard. So a lot of what I'm going to reference today is from this book. I encourage you all to get it. So let me start with, there's a misconception out there that you can get skilled at something by practicing it a couple of times, or maybe people don't have a misconception. However, they underestimate might be a better way of phrasing it. Is there's an underestimation of what it will take to become skilled at something, and a lot of people will give up on trying to become better at what they're doing in their life due to this. What George Leonard and many other people when they talk about learning a new skill is what's referred to as the 10,000 hour rule. Now, the 10,000 hour rule refers to what it actually takes to achieve a top level of success, and that person who you see, the Tony Robbins of the world, who are world-class public speakers, they've practiced for 10,000 plus hours. The black belt you see in your karate or jiu-jitsu gym, they've probably practiced for 10,000 hours to get that good. The world-class people that you find in their field of expertise have done this for 10,000 hours. In my line of work, I see a lot of, without going into too much detail, it's very people-focused, and there's a lot of moving parts in influence, getting people to agree and persuade others, that type of thing. These are all skills, business skills. However, business as a whole is sort of one thing unto its own. However, there's a lot of different skills within that will build up to achieving mastery in this area of business and speaking, fitness, etc. So don't look at that person who is a black belt. Don't look at the Tony Robbins. Don't look at Don't look at the master and think, oh, they're so lucky they're already there. Because it's not so much that they're already there. It's that they put in a lot of work. They've more than likely, when you're looking at them, they've probably done more than 10,000 hours. However, 10,000 hours is the general rule of thumb to get to that level of expertise at something. So when you have that in your mind, you sort of let go of this idea of, I'm going to get good. If I practice for 2 months, I expect to see this amount of result. It's not about getting good within X amount of time, but you sort of let go of it, because 10,000 hours is so much of it's quite a milestone to achieve that. However, in saying that, you will get good incrementally. You just won't be a master within a couple of months, within a year, within 2 years. You won't be a master at it. So when I say this is to achieve high world-class ranking status level of being good at something. You can improve the skill day by day, week by week, and that's all part of the process, which is what you should be doing. Now, he also references in his book, in Mastery by George Leonard, he references what he refers to as the mastery curve. And this is, people think that I start jiu-jitsu and I expect to be a blue belt in a couple of months, or I expect to be at some level by some estimated time frame. It doesn't necessarily work like that. It possibly will, and you probably will see improvement very quickly if you're learning a new skill, because it's all new. So you're learning everything. So before you started, you didn't even know what you didn't even know. Now you're getting this. You're starting to learn it. You'll probably pick up a lot. However, people think that the curve to achieving great success is going to be like this. It's not. This is what it's going to look like. And he refers to this in his book. You start here. You're a complete pleb newbie. You get a bit better. Oh, yep. You've just started learning that new skill. And you're really impressed with yourself. And then you'll probably have a dip and then a plateau. So your skill level will get good. And then it will dip. And then you'll plateau. And this is often where people give up, the first plateau. But it's important. You've gotten good, and you've dipped. But look where even though you've dipped, you are still, your baseline level of skill is still higher than it was down here, no? However, people get disheartened by thinking, oh yeah, I got really good, and then I kind of went backwards a little bit. But you didn't. Your baseline is still a whole lot more. And then you'll plateau, and then you'll just be going to practice every day, or you'll be trying to public speak every day, or you'll be trying to do whatever that skill is, and there'll be a plateau where you won't be seeing much improvement. And then again, you'll see that improvement again, and then it will dip again, and then it will plateau. And that's what the mastery curve looks like. So it's important to learn to understand this as a framework, because this will happen, and this is almost a universal principle of learning, unless you're some kind of genius or something. But even then, you need to remember that you'll get good at something, you'll have a dip, and then you'll plateau. You'll get good, you'll have a dip, and then you'll plateau. And it will keep going until you achieve greatness. But the important thing is you need to learn to love that plateau, because that's sort of where the learning happens. That's where all that unconscious stuff is. You're putting all that stuff into place, but it's not quite clicking in yet. It's not quite clicking in. And then when it finally does, and that's when you get good. That's when you have that spurt, because it's within that plateau, that constant practice, even when you don't want to do it, even when it feels like it's all a drag, that's when you learn a lot. That's when you learn the things that will all sort of, you might not be getting it, but then when you do get it, that's when you'll experience that noticeable improvement. Okay? So he talks about the 5 keys to mastery also. And number 1 is instructors, mentors, and teachers. This is quite self-explanatory. However, there's something to be said for vetting your teachers, mentors, because you want to be learning from the best. You don't want to be learning from So you want to be learning from the master, in the traditional sense of the martial art or the spiritual teacher or something along those lines. You want to be learning from the master. You don't want to be learning from someone who isn't where you want to be. So this is important. Look for, basically, don't learn from anyone who isn't in the position that you don't want to be in. And these days, it's kind of easy to say that you're someone who you're not, this type of thing. So, do your due diligence, find a good teacher, find a good instructor, and they will, if you trust the process, they will be your biggest cheerleader and the most firm disciplinarian on your journey to becoming a skilled practitioner in whatever you want. Okay, number 2, he talks about the idea of surrender. People are often trying to force their ideas. They're trying to force, they might become a bit combative with the learning process. They might become combative with their teacher. They might say, I know better, this and that. You're learning a new skill. You're fresh. You need to know your place. Don't let your ego get in the way. Surrender is key to learning anything. And you need to keep this at the forefront as well when your ego starts to get a little bit more fed. Once you get more skill in whatever this is. The classic is the person in the dojo who they start getting a little bit of skill and they think, oh, I'm pretty good. I can challenge my teacher to a fight. I'm pretty good. I don't need this teacher anymore. You need to humble yourself, because if you're learning from a great teacher, you're learning from a master, they are going to be better than you, and you need to learn your place. You need to surrender to these plateaus. You need to surrender to the idea of the 10,000 hour rule. You need to surrender to your teacher. You need to submit to your teacher. This will inevitably aid you and lead you to becoming a much more skilled practitioner of XYZ practice. Okay. Number 3 is intentionality. This is the idea of when you're practicing, you want to practice with focus, concerted effort. You don't want to be practicing just going through the motions. Once we get a little bit better at something, initially you're going to need to be putting in a lot of effort to try and learn this new skill. However, this bears more into, once you get good at something, there can be a tendency to become lackluster with your efforts. Going back to previous videos of mine, it's important to have your awareness on whatever you're doing. You need to be present. You need to have your awareness on this practice as you're doing it, and your mind shouldn't be elsewhere. Although we all have things going on in our lives, when you're practicing, practice. Have your awareness on it. Be there, be present. If your mind's every which way, your practice isn't really going to be beneficial. So intentionality, that's where you want to be. And number 4, he talks about the edge. And this is pushing yourself along the journey. You'll find you might just get a bit not swept up, but you might find, Mitch told me that I need to practice. Truth. But there's also a time once you get to certain levels and you need to be testing that skill. You need to be testing that practice, putting that practice to bear. George Leonard, in his book, he speaks about, because I believe he's an Aikido black belt. So he talks about it in the traditional sense of a martial arts gym, and the idea of the edge being a grading. So you get to, you're practicing. You want to test your edge, and that edge is the idea of grading yourself. So you go from white to blue belt or whatever the grading system is. You want to test that. You're on a fitness journey. You might just be running every day. Your edge might be, or your test might be, you've signed up for a marathon. this is all an idea of achieving incremental breakthroughs on this journey. So, in conclusion, I just want to reiterate and reaffirm that these principles can be used for whatever skill that you want to learn in life. And without this framework, we learn at school, we learn at universities, colleges, but it's common to not really get taught how to learn. Some people don't understand that there is a process to it. And without this knowledge, sometimes people struggle to persevere with what they want. Some people give up on things that they're really passionate about. Some people give up on things that they really want to pursue because they think, I'm no good. I'm not as good as all these people I see on social media. I'm not as good as this and that. It takes practice. It takes time. Go easy on yourself. But with these skills, be intentional. Test yourself with your edge. Surrender to the process. Practice. Understand that it's going to take time. You're going to have these dips in your skill level. It's going to take a lot of time, but you will see progress. And hopefully one day you'll become a master in your own life. All right. Thanks for joining me. I hope you got something out of this. This is a really good book, so I recommend that everyone get it. It's really short. It's only about 100-something pages, so 160-something pages. So get onto it. All right. Thanks for joining me. Enjoy. Bye.